Screw you, Finn, your leads are shit! Maybe if you guys weren't so god-awful fucking terrible at closing, you might actually close a deal or two. They all suck big doggy balls! You took 3 days to call a motherfucker back. These leads are the worst leads in history! Maybe you can eat my cock and try not sucking so much at closing the damn leads. What's up, guys? It's Frankie here, and in this video, we're gonna get over that your leads suck, that dreaded thing, and what ends up happening when clients tell you their leads suck. Inevitably, they blame you for the fact that they can't close, and at the end of the day, they end up canceling and you often get refund requests and stuff. So I want to show you guys how to avoid that. In 20 years, it's been one of those most persistent problems. It's probably the bane of your existence. And we're going to show you guys some elegantly simple solutions that will get you past that point of not even really needing the clients to close in the first place or be any good at it. For those of you guys who don't know me already, my name's Frankie Finn. I wrote these 2 best-selling books, Passive Automated Recurring Income and Beyond the Agency Box. Also built 3 of my own agencies up to 100 plus clients and help thousands of you guys out there to live this more beach, less laptop lifestyle. Let's get into the good stuff. So I want to show you guys a strategy that works to help clients get over the leads, and it works literally every time.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
60% of the time, it works every time. So the first thing to understand is that leads in general are a spectrum, and this is something to show you guys if you want to make more money in your agency in general. We actually just had a guy inside of the Wolfpack Mastermind who had a $1.4 million week or something along those lines. I don't know the exact number. But in doing what I describe here, and one of the things that we figured out is that there is a spectrum of value, and down here is what most people are selling, which is leads / opportunities. So if you bring somebody, a person over Facebook, you're over here. Now the highest value thing is when you can bring somebody sales or actual cash collected. Now for different reasons in different industries, you may not be able to get all the way there. For example, you may be able to only get here where you get a specific type of lead, right? Or a qualified lead. For example, you may screen them for some things like that. Another example of this on the spectrum is you may get an in-person or what one might call a booked appointment. Wherever possible, if you want to make more money in your agency in general, you want to focus on bringing somebody either sales or as close to sales. I'm going to show you guys some stuff in this video where you actually don't need the client to be any good at their thing for this to work. Because what happens is if you focus on the stuff that's down here and only bring them opportunities, you're going to end up in a pissing match with the clients who are going to say that your leads suck. And at the end of the day, you're going to end up having somebody cancel, which we all know is this.
It's a trap!
So over the years, I've been doing this 20 years, and I've really only found 2 sort of categories of solution to the your leads suck problem. The first way of doing this is you get the right people in the first place. And let's talk about who the right people are. I'm going to write PPL. That stands for not your pee-pee, but the old people abbreviated. So who are actually the right people? So let's talk about this. I'm going to illustrate this with a story. Years ago, we got a pay-per-performance deal with a roofer named Eddie. And I remember we were running some ads on Craigslist. They said 5-star roofing or something like that. They had testimonials. And so people would call in expecting they're getting this really high-end roofing company. And I remember this one recorded phone call. And the recorded phone call, Eddie's wife answered the phone, and she sounded like she just ate a carton of cigarettes before this phone call. So the phone call started, and she went, "Hello?" The guy went, "Yeah, is this a 5-star roof?" And she went, "Hello? Yeah, is this a 5-star roofing? Yeah, you need a roof for 1 second." She puts down the phone and we can hear an argument ensue. She goes, "Eddie, come answer the fucking phone! Why are you always talking to me like that, bitch? Bitch, you crazy, bitch, you crazy! You a crazy motherfucking bitch!" And then 7 minutes later, guy holds the entire phone call. He's like, "Hey, this is Eddie's roofing, you need a roof?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, you do roofing?" And you guys would be shocked to learn that Eddie didn't close that deal. Well, Eddie, by the way, is never going to be good at closing roofing deals. And so no matter how many specific leads we send Eddie, Eddie is going to fuck it up. Now, I compared that. I actually, my partner Dan in this deal, I ended up getting out of it. And I was like, "Dan, these roofers are too crazy for me. They're way too many raging alcoholics and things like that." And he stuck with it. And about a month or 2 later, He got a guy, I forget the guy's name, I call him the McLaren guy, but he was a roofing guy in the state of Maryland. They actually operated across 3 states. They had 40 crews of guys. They had branded trucks. They had a CRM. Every single person on the team had a clipboard. They had a process for closing those deals. They reviewed them. They followed up with people. And I remember this guy showed up with Dan in an in-person meeting. He pulls up in a McLaren F1, which at the time is the fastest production car in the world. And it's $1 million car, in case those of you guys are wondering. And he reaches into his Gucci bag, sits in front of Dan, pulls out $10,000 cash, slaps it on the table, folds his arm and says, I came here to spend money. What's it going to cost me to get you? And Dan says the whole thing is unbelievable. Well, it starts actually with the McLaren guy. Part of what made him the right person is they had a team of people that were trained in closing. They had a CRM where they kept track of those deals. They had branded trucks. They had a process. They knew their numbers. They reviewed their numbers. And they actually had a real sales process in place. By the way, the amount of people in your market that actually have this in place usually is about 5%, 10% if you're really lucky. So there's more who don't have it than do. So you want to look for some telltale signs. Do they have a CRM? Can they close? So I'll tell you, if you just focus on getting the right people, you can hand them leads and they will know what to do with it. They will call people, they will follow them up and things like that. All right, so let's talk about strategy number 2, which is very simple. Help them close. Now, there are a variety of different solutions you can use to help them. I'm going to share with you guys what my favorite solution, which is straight up like this. Tell them, Luigi. Luigi calling out my best friend's mom there. Anyways, so different ways you can help them. Let's talk about some of the strategies. One of those is you can have what's called an appointment setter or a live transfer person. A friend of mine does this with $10 an hour. He pays these stay-at-home moms or something like that. Maybe they may make like 12 or 15. I don't know the exact wage. But their job is they're semi-retired and they just answer the phone and they're trained on consultative selling so that when the call comes in, they do all the screening, they do all the qualifying, and they only hand it over when they're sure that lead is actually ready to sell. And so it's really just handing off the final detail. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think is the best strategy of them all. Actually, before we do, you can also use technology to do this. We have a lot of people in our world who have a go high-level software as a service, a GHL SaaS, if you will. And a big part of what they do is they use technology to do the close, or they use AI chatbots to do the appointment setting. I'm going to tell you what I think is the best way of doing it, and this is what we're actually doing inside of our Wolfpack Mastermind, which is close on the site. So for some of you guys, depending on the service, you may be able to actually bring it all the way to a sale right on the website, and it really just takes a killer offer to do that. So I remember this was a conversation I was having with Lana inside of our mastermind where she was doing this for yoga studios and dance studios and fitness studios and places like that. And what she found is she had a 2-part sale. So the first thing she would do is run Facebook ads to come in for a free class. And then when somebody would come in for the free class, the second sale is become a regular recurring member. And she found in her market that when she gave them leads, even free people, even people that weren't paying money just to come into a free class, they were so bad at answering the phone and knowing what to say and screwing things up that they literally couldn't close free people. So we ended up asking the question, why can't we just do that on the website? Why can't we just have them book their free session right on the calendar, get reminders, automations by software, and show up? And then we decided to take that a level further, and we're like, why can't we just sell the sales, like a yoga boot camp to get started right on the website? Why do we need them to call? And so we decided to create a landing page, or I should say Lana did, because she's much smarter than me, but created a sales page to ultimately close on the website. And what happened is she started taking money for their clients and then sending them their cut after fees and things like that. And what happened is she found that once they were in person, she never heard again that you suck at closing the leads, which, by the way, is how we like to roll in the Wolfpack Mastermind.
Select your player.
Ho ho! Bingo! Ho 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 ho!
So I'm going to suggest to you guys, especially those of you guys who work with local businesses, people know what a plumber is. They know what a dentist is. They know what services a med spa does. Close that shit right on the website, take payment, and raise the level of your service by simply doing this. Now, this will make probably your solution in the short term more complex. But the flip side of that is it'll scale 1,000 times faster, because instead of trying to get opportunities for people who have no idea what the fuck to do with it anyway, you can just bring them sales, hand it on a silver plate. And what you'll find, most businesses aren't so bad once they're face to face. It's just everything that comes before it. Now, for some of you guys, like if you're selling roofing or you're selling like general contracting where there's kind of like a quote, you may not be able to close the sale because it depends on like the job itself and a little bit of the parameters. But what you can do is right over the site, close an in-person, schedule your session here and have a salesperson come out and actually add it to their calendar right there for them and get them a qualified in-person appointment, which will make it more valuable than just bringing them a lead that they then have to call back or answer the phone, which we all know they suck at anyway. Right? So I believe this is the future, is helping them by closing right on the website. And by the way, a lot of times people ask me, can my shit be sold through video? Can it be sold on a website? Can it be sold through a Google Doc? We've sold actual houses without people seeing them. We've sold land. We've sold courses. We've sold masterminds. We have sold retreats. We have sold hundreds of agency services. We have sold client services. I sold at car, not multiple cars, but just one. We sold at car entirely through video, although I only ever attempted it once. So chances are, by the way, like you may not already be doing it, but you can close your client stuff on this. And the secret to be able to close your client stuff or your own stuff right over a website or a video or whatever without a sales call is making the offer do the heavy lifting. Make the offer, right? Do the heavy lifting. So if you can do this, what you'll find is people will give you money right on the website, or at the very least, will schedule an in-person meeting. And what will happen is you'll get away from the your lead sucks. So you really only have two ways of dealing with this. Either refocus your thing to aim at the right people and or help them in the sales process. And in doing so, you'll raise your value, by the way. Why I mentioned that one person was able to make 1.4 million in a week? Because they handed that person sales on a silver platter, right? If they had just handed them leads, by the way, that person had 60,000 unconverted leads, and that person said, hey, I can turn those into sales for you. And when they did that, that person gave them a percentage, or I think it was a set fee on each of those deals, and they brought them 15,000 closed deals. And by the way, it was their own leads. They didn't even have to go find them because they had already unconverted leads they didn't know what to do with. So I share this with you guys because if you want to get out of this, your leads suck, clients canceling, get out of the idea that I bring you a Facebook ad, a lead, and then that's the end of my opportunity. And instead, either focus on the right people, or what I would suggest is sell their shit for them, actually schedule it and book it and bring them in and bring them sales handed to them on a silver platter. And what will happen is you can charge as much as you want for sales, and clients will never cancel because they need your sales. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe just for the dad guns alone. Hey guys, if you like this video, you may also like my best-selling book here, Beyond the Agency Box. It is all about scaling a digital marketing agency while eliminating meetings and phone calls. We actually sell our stuff phoneless. We don't have any client meetings, and we also hire our team entirely without meeting phone calls, which allows us to, like actually kind of live a life. I've laid out the entire blueprint and everything you need to know, getting clients, onboarding, setting expectations, scaling, building a team, you name it. It has been a bestseller on Amazon now for over 5 straight years, but now you can get it even cheaper than you can get it on Amazon. So I can't tell you the exact price because it may change when this video is released, but there should be a link to it below, either in the description of the video or as well as a pinned comment. So if you're interested in that, check out that video and you can get a copy for super cheap.